All right, y'all. Here is the full breakdown of the range. The new Berg-like one-speed approach disc from Streamline. Here's the truth. First of all, I'm not on Team MVP. I'm not trying to sell you this disc. I'm going to tell you what I like it for, why I might not like it, why it might fit your style, why it might not fit your style, what I think you can use it for, even if it doesn't fit your style. And yeah, just kind of the pros and cons. So basically this disc is like a slightly shallower Berg as far as the feel and the look of it. Stability wise, it's like a beat-in Berg. So if you had a glow Berg and you bagged it consistently for a year, I'm not talking about a beat to crap Berg that's flippy and, a dog toy now. I'm just talking about a nice seasoned disc, right? This is a nice seasoned Berg, okay? That's the stability of this. So pros and cons and why you might want it, might not want it. Okay. So the thing about this kind of disc is that it needs to be thrown at the appropriate speeds, right? If it's thrown at the appropriate speeds, this disc can be amazing. If it will hold any line that you put it on, right? So if I backhand it on hyzer, it'll hold the hyzer. Now, if I crank on it on hyzer, then obviously it's going to flip up to flat and get some turn. And if I'm throwing it like at a 10 or 11 speed, but if I'm throwing it like a 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 speed, it will hold the line. So it'll hold a hyzer, it'll hold flat, and it'll hold anhyzers. That's good. There's nothing to complain about that, right? The other thing about it is on your forehands, you cannot roll your wrist over, okay? So if you forehand this with good form and appropriate speed, it is a great forehand. It can do things, it can just be so dead straight and not fade out at the end, which is great, right? It can be so perfect for those anhyzer approach lines, right? That it's not gonna roll over on you. It's also not gonna get to the end and then hard fade out at the end like a disc with like a 3 fade or something. It can be really, really good for that. So these are the things that you can use it for. I think that if somebody committed themselves to learning a Berg or a range because they liked how it felt in their hand, they liked that line, then this can be a cheat code for you, and it can be a really, really nice, straight, reliable disc. I have a buddy who bags a Berg, actually a couple of them, and they are all over the basket from like 180 and in, whether backhand, whether forehand. They are dialed in with it. They've been bagging it for years, and that's what works for them. If you are a flex player, like if you like to throw something over stable that flexes out at the end, nope, it's not for you. If you like to backhand something on slight ante and then watch it get back to flat and flex out at the end, no, it's not for you. This is for a dedicated, hey, I want this disc in my bag. I want it to go straight and land softly, not fly past the basket, not fade out hard at the end. It is going to be that for you. So personally, so for some context, like I'm 950 rated. I'm a very 950 rated MA1 player. Like I just had a tournament this weekend. I shot 940 in one round and I shot like 955 in the second round. Like I am purely 950. I have rounds this year that are 1,000 and 990. I also have rounds this year that are like 915 and 920. So I'm right in the middle. I'm not great at any one thing. I'm just pretty solid all around, and I've been playing for 10 years, so I do know what I'm talking about. You have to throw it at the appropriate speed again. And also, even if you don't bag this, like for me personally, I don't think I need it, right? Like I see its utility and I see my friends bag a Berg and I see like that this can be really great, but like I personally have discs. I bang a lot of putters and I don't really see like what this does for me that I don't already have. That's not a slight against this. It just means that I already have that in my lineup. However, this will stay in my practice bag / my fieldwork bag, because kind of like people who complain about a glitch on backhand and we tell them, hey, learn how to throw that glitch backhand because it will help you with your form. If you throw a glitch backhand and you're just burning it over or you're getting a lot of wobble, like that's telling you about your backhand form, right? I believe that about the range, but with forehand. So I am a mainly backhand player with a very serviceable forehand. It's not my strength, but I can count on my forehand. This disc, you need to release this disc on forehand with your palm facing up. If you roll your wrist with this disc, you're gonna throw a bad shot. You're gonna think it's the disc fault. It's gonna expose bad form. This disc is going to reward good forehand form. So for me personally, it's not in my bag, like my tournament bag, right? But it is in my fieldwork bag. I'm at fieldwork right now, and this is out here, especially for warming up my forehand, because, you know, I have my overstable forehand discs that like I want to throw flat or on slight Anheuser and get them to go straight and then fade out at the end. But I also have we have our couple of stable to, just stable or maybe slightly understable forehands that you want to hyzer flip, right? This will teach you how to do that really, really well. You start forehanding this thing dead straight, 150 feet, and just on a rope, your forehand form is getting dialed in. So there's no problem for me to want to keep one of these around to come practice fieldwork with, to warm up before a tournament with. It can be used for that. So again, you have two choices. You either love how this feels in your hand and you love the idea of a Berg / range, and you are going to dedicate your time, because having a disc in your bag that holds any line you put it on is never a bad idea. If I throw this at the appropriate speed on hyzer, holds hyzer. If I throw it flat, it throws flat. If I throw it Anheuser, it holds Anheuser. There's nothing wrong with that. If I want to forehand something and I don't want to throw like an entropy or something that has hard pyro, something that has hard fade at the end, and I have my form dialed to where I pop it out there on forehand and it flips up and just rides straight and then sits down, obviously there's nothing wrong with that either, right? So great for that. Now, if you are not super dedicated to like working on that form, or if you already have like a flex shot that like works for you in those situations, this is not that disc for you, right? And then the other thing, like I already said, keep it around, play catch with it, warm up with it, throw it at, like when you get to a course and you're still stretching or putting, like just throw it at the basket a few times from a distance, like see what it's doing for you, like warm up with it, like forehand it through, forehand it from one tee pad to the net, like to the next when you're walking to the next hole or something. Just kind of like people practice rollers, like when they're walking to the next tee pad, they'll throw a roller down and see how close they can get it to the next tee pad. That's a really, really good way to practice rollers. Same thing with this, like carry this. If you're working on a forehand, carry this as a spare disc. And when you're walking to your next hole and you see like a little gap or a pathway or something, see if you can forehand it on the path that you're walking on. See if you can forehand it around that corner to where the next tee pad is, because that's what this is really, really good for. That's my honest take on the range. Nobody asked, probably nobody cares, but that's it. I think it's useful, and I think you can bag it and do great things with it. And I also think you can not bag it and still do great things without it. But it does have value.